And now we start Daf Nun Amud Beis, Vehilchasa, and the final halacha that was accepted is that Yisomim Sha'amru Gedolim V'Ein Tzarich Lomer K'tan, Bein L'Shvua U'Bein L'Ziburis. The halacha with regard to Yisomim, there's no difference between a Yasam Katan and a Yasam Gadol. In both cases, either we're going to require a shvua on behalf of the malva to collect from the Yisomim after the death of the lova, even if the Yisomim Gedolim, nor with regard to collecting from the children, the Yisomim, the orphans of the lova. The malv only has rights to collect from ziburis, even if these Yisomim Gedolim, because we don't assume that the motivation for the Takanas Chachamim of Ein Ephraim Minitz Yisomim Min Ziburis was compassion for the Yisomim, but rather it was because Lotinol Del Snei Loven doesn't apply in the case of Misas HaLov. Now the Mishnah says, if the lova has bnei chorin in his possession, then the malva doesn't have rights to collect from the lekuchos in event that the lova had sold his karka. Those are called mishubadim. He can only collect from bnei chorin. If the bnei chorin don't cover it, then he has recourse to collect from the lekuchos. Boy Ravach the boy bar Ami. What happens if the lova gave a matana to Ploni? Now we have to emphasize that matana was given after the halva. So on day one, the lova received most of milva. On day two, he gave away his karka as a matana to so-and-so. So let's analyze the two tzadim of Rav Achterboy's suffix. Shall we say that the malva has no recourse to collect that karka from the makabel matana because the lova has been a chorin? Okay, that's a simple approach. Oh, what's the tzad to say no, that the malva has rights to collect from the makabel matana? So I'm tempted to think that we have to read the next Gemara in order to answer this question. Again, we're looking for a compelling reason that we would grant the malva rights to collect from the makabel matana, even if the lova has been a chorin. Takanta hudi ovid rabbana mishum seder lekuchos. So now we introduce a concept of Pseidah de Lekuchos. So we're going to have two interpretations of Pseidah de Lekuchos. One that will include Makabel Matana and one that will exclude Makabel Matana. At one point in time, these karkos, before they were sold by the lova to the lokeach, were mishubados, and therefore the shibud karka applies and generates rights for the malva to collect from lekuchos. Why do we have to limit the malva because the lova has been a chorin? And the answer is that takana was made in order to protect the lekuchos. The lekuchos nebuch bought a piece of karka naively, but in due diligence, And who knows if they'll ever get back the money that they paid for this karka. Why do you want to expose the lokach to this danger? Why is he guilty? And allow the malva to collect directly from the lokach. That's not fair. Let the lova pay up the chov. He's got a shibud aguf, not only a shibud karka. Now, if that be the case, then matana delekap say to lekuchas lo. We don't have to. Our heart doesn't have to go out for the makabel matana. He didn't spend a dime in order to receive this gift. He got it gratis. So that if the malva exercising his rights to collect from his shubadim goes directly to the makabel matana, we don't have to protect the makabel matana. There's no psei to the lekuchos in the case of kabbalas matana. Oh, Dilma, now we have to rack our brains. So what's the other side in the Gemara to say that we have to protect the rights of the makabel matana as if he were a lokeh? Matana nami ilav de islay hanamine lo yoiv le matana. What motivated the love to give a gift of karka gratis to the makabel matana? Obviously, he was paying back a favor that the makabel matana had extended to the nosena matana. We don't assume a person just wakes up one morning and gives a gift. Apparently, like yesterday. I'll tell you what happened to me yesterday. I'll say it in a low voice. I was at a gas station on the way to Beitar Elite. And an Arab guy comes over to me, looks like a really nice guy, and he points out that my tires need air. Now, I'm not so good at doing this. He says all 4 tires need air desperate. And you have to go all the way around the whole gas station in order to get to the pump for the air. So I can't tell you how much he helped. And he mamish pumped in lots and lots of air to all 4 tires. So at this point, I want to give him a gift. I'm not going to tell you the end of the story about how this guy did a job on me and he duped me. But the point is, I felt I had to pay him up. He really took time and effort, and he stood by me. Now I have air in my 4 tires. So a person who gives a gift, the premise is he's giving a gift as payment for something that was given to him, whether it's efforts and tirchans, whatever it might be. So therefore, the makabel matana has a right to claim, I'm like a lokeach. I really paid for this gift. The gift was not just out of the goodness of his heart. It was because I had done so many things for him. Hilkach, keep saying the lekuchas nami. We're going to classify the makabel matana as a lokeach. He really paid up. And the lov is now paying him back by giving him a gift. So now the Gemara is going to be poshet this suffix from the case of shkimira. Now, this sugya that we're about to learn is very complicated. So I'm starting this sugya with a tefillah to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that he give us the or of Torah here. Now, we're talking about a case where the Shchiv Merah gave out 3 different gifts. He gave a tzavah Shchiv Merah, Amalei Marakashisha Reder of Ravashi, Toshma Shchiv Merah, She'omar Tnu Masayim Liploni. Give a piece of my karka that's worth Masayim Zuz, a very significant sum of money, to so-and-so. We'll call him Ruvain. the shlosh zuz, which is an even more significant gift, leploni to Shimon, the arbameos leploni to Levi. Now you could interpret in the following way. What he had in mind, the Shchimera, was make sure that Reuven gets his gift. If there's more karka to be had, then give to Shimon, and now Shimon gets a gift. And if there's more karka, then give to Levi. No. Says Mark Shisha, that's not the halacha. Ein omrim kol hakodah b'shtar zacha, but rather the halacha is that they all are equal, Reuven, Shimon, and Levi, in their rights to the karka of the Shchimera. Because the Shchimera, when he said Masayim, Shlosh Meos, Arba Meos, he didn't mean first, second, and third. He had no intention to set up a seder of Chiluk HaMatanos. He couldn't say in one breath, like HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, Shomer v'zocher b'dibur echad, that he wants to give Reuven, Shimon, and Levi. So he had to say it sequentially, and that's how he said it. But he didn't mean that there's a seder to the Makabli Matan. Lefichach. So on the one hand, that's good news for Levi and Shimon, because we're going to take the karka as a whole. So if the total value of the karka is, let's say, 900 zuz, then everybody will get what's coming to them. If it's less, then it could be that Levi, in the Havmin, if there was a seder, Levi would end up with nothing. But the bad news is that Levi now has an equal share, well, I say greater share, in the responsibility to pay up a chov. So let's say the Shchimera had borrowed money during his lifetime, and the Malveh, the Balchov, comes with his shtar. Lefichach yatzal of shtar chov gova mikulon. Each one is respectively responsible to pay up the chov. And therefore, we're going to imagine that, let's say Levi will pay, if the total is 900, he'll pay 1/3 of the chov, and so forth and so on. Let's say, I meant to say Shimon if I said Levi. So Shimon will pay 1/3 of the chov. Levi, who gets 4/9, he'll pay 4/9 of the chov, and Reuven will pay 2/9 of the chov. Avolim Omar, but let's say the Shchimera, when he wrote up his shtar hatzava, he wrote it in the following way: Tnu masayim zuz leploni, the achrov, and he added the word the achrov leploni, right? Shlosh me'el zuzim. The achrov arba me'el zuz leploni. So in that case, his kavana was clearly to divvy up his karka lefi haseder. Omrim kol hakodah b'shtar zacha, so that Reuven, if there's only 200 zuz of karka in possession of the Shchimera, he'll get the entire karka. If there's 500 zuz worth, then Shimon will collect 300, and if there's 900, then Levi will connect his 400. Lefichach yatzal of shtar chov govim min ha'achron, ein lo govim milefanav, v'ein lo govim milefnei fanav. Who becomes first responsible, first on line, on the shooting line, for paying back the chov of the Shchimera? It's going to be Levi. So the first one that Levi will approach to collect his chov will be Levi. No. I'm sorry. Did I say Levi? I meant to say Reuven. Right, Reuven. Let's go back. The first one to be on the firing line will be Reuven, because we're going with the seder, because he said Achor. So who's responsible on the front line? That's going to be Reuven. If there's more to be paid and more available, then Shimon will carry the balance and so forth. Oh, So what are we going to prove from this brisa? The brisa is written stam. That's a key word over here. Unqualified. The achrav leploni, right? Gova mina achron v'lo mina rishon. Just one second. Gova mina achron. No, I'm sorry. Let me go back to my original position. I keep making this mistake. Levi is first on the firing line, not Reuven. Because the kavanah of the Shchibera indicated by the Me'achrov is that the first one on the line, Reuven, he's got to get it. He's the one who's most beloved, so to speak, in the eyes of the Shchibera. So the Gemara now says, the afal gav de kama beinanis. In other words, since it's stama, we're going to apply different scenarios. So let's apply the following scenario. Reuven, the Rishon, received karka beinanis, ubasra, and let's say Levi, the Achron, received ziburis. And the Brisa says, mi ziburis gavi, mi beinanis lo gavi. So the Achron has ziburis, and the Brisa says that we collected from the Achron. So obviously we're collecting it from ziburis. Now, Shimon, or for that matter, Reuven, might have had beinanis, and a Balchov has rights to collect beinanis, but lo gavi. He has no recourse other than to collect ziburis from the Achron. Shmami no b'matona nami ovid rabbonin takonta. In other words, the reason why the Balchov collects from the Achron is because that's called B'nei Chori. And in this case, he's collecting from the B'nei Chori, even from a Makabel Matana. So we see that even in the case of Makabel Matana, the Chachamim made a takana that you collect from B'nei Chori. And the Gemara rejects it. Hachmayaskinan b'Balchov. Who are these three guys? Reuven, Shimon, and Levi. We thought that they were just makabli matana. They were good buddies of the shchibah, right? He was doing a gift, a favor for his buddies. No. They are balichov. These are people who lent money to the shchibah. And the shtarchov now first is on Levi, and that's where they'll collect, because that's called b'nei chori. And the Shchibah had indicated li'achra. So Gemara asks a kasha, but wait a second, you can't be talking about balichov. It says v'tnu ka'amar. The Shchibah said tnu. Tnu is always a lashon matana. If he was paying up a chov to his balichov, then he would have said shilmu or tifru. And the Gemara says you're going to have to change the girsa in the brisa, tnu bechovi. Not just tnu, but add the word bechovi. The Gemara asks the fine kasha, lechse shtar deman kadim. Why is this whole discussion about whether or not the Shchimera had in mind say there of the Bali Kabbalah and so forth and so on? Why not just look at the shtaros? Which shtar milva was first? And we have a loch in Shtare Halfa that the Gevia is reflected by the date that's written in the shtar. The earlier date, that Malva from that early date has first rights to collect. And the Gemara says the Leka Shtara. This is a case of Milva Balpeh. Aiva Kakoda Bishtar Ka'am. And the price says explicitly who is earliest in the shtar, and the Gemara says b'shtar pekadna. We're not talking about a shtar halva, but rather the shtar tzava. All the halvos were balpeh, and now the shchimera on his deathbed is writing a shtar tzava. Iboy sema filu matonanami. And the Gemara now brings another possible okimta to clarify this price in a way that we won't be able to be poshet the suffix of Rav Boy, that the matana is collectible from beinanis of the Rishon and not ziburis of the Achron, because lokayim b'matana haklal she'ein from nitzei mishubad makum shemei chorin. We're going according to that other tzad in Rav Boy that this takana that you don't collect from mishubadim with if they're b'nei chorin doesn't apply to mekabel matana v'lo kasha. Why does the price say govim in achron, which means from b'nei chorin? My govim in achron ain't nifsad el achron. It means that only the last one is going to suffer the loss, and he's going to have to fork over the karka for the balchova, the shchimira, meaning the mal. Gemara offers another possibility. Iboy same the shavu kula dod. All the karkos of the shchimira that he gave as a gift were all on the same qualitative level. They were all beinanis, they were all ziburis. So when the malva comes to collect his karka from beinanis in the hands of the Achron of Levi, so we apply the following principle: Kishem shenosein matana yachol loses lemalva eza karka beinanis hu rotze. The lova has rights to choose which karka beinanis he wants to fork over. So to makabel matana who receives the schus of the lova, he also has the rights to choose which karka he wants to pay up with, and therefore he can be docher the malva to beinanis she'etzal alova or beinanis she'etzal lokeh. Now the Mishnah says that if a person steals a piece of karka and he sells it to lokech b'achrayus, if you recall from our discussion yesterday, then the nigzal has to now has rights to collect the karka as is with the payros, and the purchaser has to go back and collect from the gazlan the amount of money that he paid for this karka. And if the gazlan in the meantime had sold karka, then the lokeach has rights to collect that karka from those lekuchos. But he cannot collect from those lekuchos peiros. Ein motzi and lachilas peiros, my taima, amr ulam reish lakish. Ula says, lefisha ein ksuvim. Those payros are not written in the shtar mechira. So the achrayus that's generated by the shtar mechira is on the karka the lokech purchased from the mocher. And the edim, when there's a shtar mecher, a motzi kol, that the mocher accepted achrayus, and if somebody goes ahead and buys a karka from the mocher subsequent to this sale, he knows that karka he's buying is backing up the shtar mecher be'achrayus. But as far as payros or some sort of increment in the value of the soda, that's going to come in the future. Even if the shtar mentions that achrayus for payros or shvachas soda, nevertheless, since at the time of the writing of the shtar they were not in existence, the edim cannot be motzi kol on that achrayus, which hasn't yet come to fruition, and it's called the milva balpeh. So the Gemara raises the following objection: Amalei Rabbi Abba leula. According to your logic, ula in the name of Reish Lakish, that since the payros are not written in the shtar, therefore you cannot collect them from the mishubadim for mazon isha v'abonos The command ksivi domi. I mean, there's a Tanai Bezdin that the husband is chayiv in mizonos, and yet Ketani ein motziin. The Mishnah says that we don't collect from the mishubadim for the sake of mizonos, even though the coal is there. So you can't tell me that the reason why we would not motzi from the kuchos lachilas peres because they're not written in the shtar. We see clearly from Ksuba, from Mazon Isha, that even if it's not written in the shtar, nevertheless, it's not collectible. Amalei, so Ula responds and he says, there's no cash from Mazon Isha. When the Rabbanah made a takana that the Baal has to pay mizonos to support his wife, Ksuvim hem eitzel b'nei chorim v'ein ksuvim eitzel mishubadim. They made a takana that the Baal could only that the collection of the mizonos, in event that the Baal defaults on his obligation to supply mizonos, can only be collected from b'nei chorim. But if the Baal had sold his karka, the buyers are not responsible to back up the chov of mizonos. And the reason for this is because who would want to buy karka? Just 1 second, sorry. Who's going to want to buy karka knowing that the almana or the daughters will come and collect their mizonos? He says, Yesh chashasha adam lo yirtza liolam liknos karka. Why? Because im almanoso benosav shalam mochi yavo liolam likvos mena mizonos. I mean, mizonos is like an infinite ongoing chov. Nobody's going to want to buy karka because that karka is now going to have to back up the fee of mizonos of the Baal. V'chein omer Rav Asi omer Rav Yochanan lefisha ein ksuvin. So Rav Yochanan repeats what we saw from Ula, and once again the Gemara is going to reject it. Omalei Rav Zerler of Asi, V'mozon Isha V'abonos, the command ksivi domi, right? There's a call. It's as if it's written in shtar because of the Tanai Bezdin, and yet Ketani ein motziin. Omalei meikara hachi itkin, the same answer that we gave before. Ksuvim ein eitzel b'nei chorvein, ksuvim ein eitzel mishubad. And Rab Chanina Amar, the reason why we don't collect from mishubadim for achilas peros, in the case of the Gazlan who sold the field b'achrayus, is lefisha ein ksuvim. You don't know what the peros will amount to. You know, sometimes there'll be a gigantic volume of peros, and other times there'll be less. Ipoilahu, and the Gemara now has a suffix about Rabbi Chanina. Rabbi Chanina ksuvim boy. When can you collect from mishubadu? You need both ksuvim and ksuvim. Or Odilma here on Daf Nun Aleph, ksuvim afal pishenim ksuvim. As long as they're ksuvim, then you can collect from mishubadim for the chovos, even if they're not written. And the reason why we don't take from an achilas peros and collect them from the chos mishubadim is because they're not ksuvim. They're not ksuvim with a tzad. Okay, then, so this is where we'll stop. And once again, I have to thank you for the overtime here. These sugyas are mamish, so profound. Now, tomorrow's a fast day. I don't do too well on a fast day, but we'll try. And davening by us is earlier because of the slichos for Yud Zayin B'Tammuz, so we should be able to start at 7:30 tomorrow. So we'll give it a shot. If I wake up early before Alos HaShachar, maybe I'll get enough hydrated that I won't have to lose my my hydration with the shear. Okay, then, so we'll give it a shot, if it's okay with you.